Hey, 반갑습니다, Steve. I hope you had a great weekend. You know, I watched your video about the one thing that you wish you knew before you came to Korea, or that you could probably go back and tell yourself before coming to Korea that would have really helped you out along the way. Now, I've been here 2.5 years, and you know, there's been some bumps along the way, and it's not always this big rosy picture when you're doing life in a foreign country, although it is interesting and exciting at times, and it really helps you grow as an individual. But in my case, now that I've been here and having gone through life for as long as I have here, the one thing that I wish that I knew before coming here, that I wish I could go back and say, listen, Tom, you need to put some time into this thing. It may seem generic, but it really was a block for me in many ways, and that is learning how to speak the language, or knowing how to speak Korean. And it might seem like a simple thing, and some people may say, look, when you're teaching English in Korea or any other country, you don't want to know how to speak Korean and all this and that. There's a few reasons why it really would have made my life a little easier, maybe a little more robust. The first is in the classroom. Now, some people will say, although probably no one who's hiring would tell you this, but people out there say, it's not good to know how to speak Korean because then you're going to give your kids a crutch and this and that, and there's some validity behind that statement. As long as you don't use it in the classroom all that much, I still think that the out-of-class interaction with the kids, especially now with elementary school kids, they come up to me, they want to engage, you know, they're really playful and positive, and they just want to kind of see what's going on with me. There comes a point where, you know, after the 3 or 4 words that they know, you just kind of, you know, you play around with them a little bit, and then that's it. Even with the middle school students that I worked with, you can only go so far before you just look at each other and part ways. I think if I knew how to speak Korean, I could take them through the conversation a little bit more, get to know them a little bit more, and I think ultimately it would help them to learn the language better if I could equate what I'm trying to get them to say to something in their mother tongue. And also, though, in the classroom, I think it would be valuable because your co-teacher is not always going to be there. They may be working on some paperwork, or they may need to shoot out for a meeting or something like that. And there's times when you really could use some Korean in the classroom to get control, or to manage class better, or to get a point across, or to introduce a new word. It is helpful that way. The other way it's helpful, that I wish I had some maybe intermediate, maybe basic, would have been helpful for me, is in everyday life, taking cabs, going to the store, talking to your judo instructor, meeting friends, things like that, ordering at a restaurant. These are just very simple tasks that when you're just kind of having a blasé day and then you're like, oh my God, how am I going to pantomime what I'm trying to say? And that's what I've come across on many occasions, and it would have just been a lot easier for me to say it in Korean. And not only that, in my particular case, people look at me and they're like, all right, what's going on with this guy? Koreans. They're like, what's up with this guy? What is he? Is he Chinese, Japanese, Korean? What's going on? And I tell them that I'm Korean. I think there's a little bit of a letdown in some cases. Not like they're shunning me or anything, but I think they wish that I had some ability to speak with them, because I think they want to get to know me as a Korean, a person of Korean descent, half Korean descent. Just to be like, okay, this guy's an American, and I just want to talk to him, and maybe he can help me with some English, or I just want to get to know him. Maybe there's some disappointment there too, where they think, hey, why don't you know how to learn? Why don't you know how to speak Korean? You know, what's up with your mother not teaching you how to speak Korean? And that's been a little bit of a stumbling block in many cases. But, you know, I find a way around it. I find translators, or I just get my point across. You know, sincerity comes through in the face and in your body language anyway. And along the way, I picked up some basic Korean, so that helped. I never thought that learning how to speak Korean would have come in so handy as it has later on in my life here, since I didn't learn it growing up. But you find your way around it, you make use of other resources, which I have done, and my time here has been successful. I have no regrets. But anyway, Steve, that's my 2 cents on what I wish I knew before coming to Korea, or I wish I could go back and tell myself to get with the program on. Anyway, thanks for your insights. That was a great video and some important things that I think any foreigner should really think about before traveling abroad to any country, not just Korea. Anyway, I'll see you next time, Steve. Have a great week. Peace. Folks, be sure to subscribe to Chi Ranger's vlog channel to hear both sides of our stories on our KAM chats, Korea and more. Now, I know that there's one on my list, and I'm going to save it to the end, that most of you, probably 95% of you, have not heard of. Only the hardcore would have known this one.